This is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
And good morning. We have made it to Friday, second day of the month, February 2nd. Good morning, early risers. I'm Ray Collins. Stephanie Webb is off today, still not feeling well, the flu bug going around. John Scalzi is here, and John, we have made it to the weekend.
Yahoo, we have, yes indeed. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty decent weekend as well, at least for half of it. Warm today. We'll have some clouds that'll start to build on Saturday. That'll be kind of a signal that things are going to change up a little bit. And we do have a chance of an isolated shower coming our way on Sunday. But then we have confidence building in perhaps some wetter weather headed our way in times for Sunday. And we'll be talking about those things in detail coming up over the course of the next hour. Currently, temperatures a little bit warmer than they were 24 hours ago. In the mid-50s most everywhere we're looking. 55 Sarasota, 58 degrees in Venice, and in Inglewood we got 59. Northport comes in at 58, and 58 in Parrish and Bradenton. That represents about a 5 to 8 degree above the 24-hour ago temperature. So we're on the way to a warm afternoon as well, and we'll talk all about that in a few. Back to you, Ray.
Thank you, John. Checking first alert traffic now. Nothing to speak of so far in Manatee County. A little blip there on the right side of your screen out there on State Road 70 westbound as you cross Lakewood Ranch Boulevard. Otherwise, all clear so far in Manatee County. Checking farther south into the northern half of Sarasota County. Nothing much to speak of. So far, so good. And the southern half all clear at 5:02 on your Friday morning. Our top story, 1 month into the new year, and wildfires are very active on the Suncoast right now. Fire officials say we haven't seen this many wildfires this early in the year in several years. There's 5 right now in Sarasota County and 3 more in Manatee County. In the month of January, there were a total of 22 wildfires in the 5-county region. That also includes Charlotte, Hardee, and DeSoto counties. The Florida Forest Service says that at least a dozen more compared to January of last year.
The majority of them have been illegal burns. There's been a couple of them that's been caused by equipment or children. There's still a handful that's still under investigation, and so it's just kind of, a little hodgepodge of different things so far.
Fire officials say wildfire season in Florida is now year-round due to dry conditions. The season usually begins around the end of February. Meantime, Florida's fire marshal is on the Suncoast this morning. He's here to talk about a bill in Tallahassee that would help firefighters with their post-traumatic stress disorders. Our Marla Spence now joins us live from Fire Station 1 in the Rosemary District. Marla, good morning.
Yeah, Ray, PTSD is an issue that many believe only those who serve in the military can suffer from, but believe it or not, firefighters and first responders can suffer from the disorder as well, and many times they can't get benefits to pay for that treatment. Now today, Fire Marshal and CFO Jimmy Petronis will be here at Fire Station number 1 to talk about that issue and efforts to increase benefits for firefighters who are diagnosed with PTSD across the state and also on the Suncoast. Currently, first responders are only eligible for workers' compensation if they have physical injuries. House Bill 227 is something that's been in the works, and now it's getting a closer review by the House. Now, Petronis first learned about this issue through a Hillsborough County woman whose brother, who served for the Tampa Fire Department, took his own life. And today, Petronis will be right here at Fire Station number 1 to speak to firefighters here at 7:30 this morning, and we'll be here as well to get an inside look of today's visit. Reporting live on the Suncoast, I'm Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Thank you, Marla. New details now in a school shooting yesterday in Southern California at a middle school. Police now say it was an accident. But they arrested a 12-year-old girl in an incident that left a 15-year-old boy in critical condition and other classmates in stable condition. Students that spoke to her afterwards say she was crying and kept repeating, "I didn't mean it." They say the gun she had in her backpack accidentally went off when she dropped the bag.
This is a very serious and complex investigation, and we're going to treat it that way because of the details that were involved.
They said that it was just an accident, but I don't really think it was an accident. Why would you take out a gun for fun?
Of course, the big question is why'd she have a gun in the first place, right? 3 others, including a school employee, also suffered minor injuries. Back on the East Coast in Florida, 2 people who rented a boat off the Florida Keys are safe this morning, thanks to the U.S. Coast Guard. The 2 had somehow fallen off the boat near Lower Matacumbe Key. It happened about 5 p.m., but they weren't rescued until 7 p.m. when it was dark. A helicopter helped make the save. Florida Fish and Wildlife were also on the scene. The victims were taken to a nearby hospital. A follow-up now on what appeared to be an explosive donation to the Minnesota Goodwill. Turns out the so-called live grenade was a toy replica. Someone dropped it off to the store on 15th Street East in Bradenton. The Manatee County Sheriff's Office says there was also an airsoft launcher like those used in military simulations or paintball games. Inside the launcher was a live toy grenade that's used with airsoft launchers. The store manager told deputies the donation came into another store a few days earlier. Employees didn't know what it was, but they still shared it to the other store. No word yet as to who made that donation in the first place. A group of girls are changing the lives of some shelter animals on the Suncoast, and they're doing it using math. Girls Inc. of Sarasota County teamed up with Nate's Honor Animal Rescue to create custom-fit fleece blankets for the animals.
When it's winter time, it's probably cold for these dogs, and so we got a blanket, and then we were going to make them nice and warm during the winter.
They had to figure out the exact dimensions of the bed, what the template would look like, the measurements, how many blankets would come from a bolt of fabric, how many could they create, and then do all the work to make the blankets.
Way to go, girls. They made 113 blankets for the animals. A plan to stop moving our clocks twice a year in Florida passed its first hurdle in Tallahassee. A House panel approved the bill to drop daylight savings time in Florida. The bill is sponsored in the Senate by area Senator Greg Stubbe. Now, if approved, Congress would then have to amend an existing federal law. It is the second day of February, Groundhog's Day. Again, each year we wait for a groundhog in Pennsylvania to wake up from hibernation. If the groundhog sees its shadow, legend has it there will be 6 more weeks of winter. If it doesn't, spring arrives sooner. More than a dozen states also take part in the tradition with their own groundhogs or respective animals. For more on this, as well as the actual forecast, go to our new app in the App Store. We're under WWSB or My Suncoast. Still ahead, first alert traffic and weather, and the importance of preparation. We'll talk to a former NFL player who took part in 2 Super Bowls. We'll hear his thoughts about Sunday's big game. And later in the hour, how expensive are those football tickets exactly? And what could you buy instead? We'll have a story on that as well. It is 5:08 right now. Here's a live shot outside our window, watching some bright high beams coming across the Ringling Causeway. We'll have more news, including John's first alert forecast next on Good Morning Suncoast.
For more than 100 years, American Humane Association has been teaching kids to be kind to animals. Those in our homes, on the farms, on the silver screen, and wildlife conservation, caring for the world's vanishing creatures. But we can't do it alone. Visit kindness100.org to find ways to teach kids how they can make a more caring, compassionate, and humane world for all of us.
At Tidewell Hospice, we know it's never too late to say thank you to our military veterans. The Tidewell Honors Veterans Program has provided care to more than 13,000 military families since 2008. Tidewell volunteers help honor veterans through special pinning ceremonies that demonstrate our appreciation for the freedom our veterans fought to defend. If you know a veteran who can benefit from end-of-life care, call or visit tidewell.org today. Tidewell Hospice. It's more than you think.
This is an important announcement. If you're between 50 and 85 and worried about your loved ones, you can still get affordable life insurance for peace of mind.
My life insurance coverage is guaranteed, and I was not required to get a medical exam.
I had high blood pressure and diabetes, and I got my coverage with one telephone call. No exam necessary.
I'm a smoker, and I wanted to take care of my family. I called to get my life insurance and my affairs in order. I wanted to do the right thing.
Call Final Expense No Exam Insurance. Your rates are guaranteed and will never increase.
I called and learned that this insurance cannot be canceled even if you get sick or gain weight.
And there are no restrictions on how my beneficiaries use the money when I'm gone.
Approval was easy and the price was right. I wanted to do this for my children. Call 800-738-9812. 800-738-9812.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet, a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we're starting off a little bit warmer this morning than we did 24 hours ago by about 5 to 8 degrees. 55 degrees, we'll call it by around 7 o'clock this morning. Then as we head into the noontime hour, warmer still, 71 at 12 noon, and by 3 p.m. about 74. 74 top-off temperature will be about where we were yesterday. We're just going to get there a little bit faster, I think. We might have a longer duration of warmer hours this afternoon. A couple more anyway. As we head into the evening hours, 65 degrees. With not much in the way of a rainfall chance today, we're at 55 with a dew-point value that has risen up to 51. So we have a lot more moisture in our atmosphere today. That could lead to some patchy fog tomorrow morning, perhaps. Calm winds currently. We're looking for a pretty nice start to the day, I think. You'll see on our weather highlights map a line of showers that extends all the way from the coastal areas of down East Maine through the mid-Atlantic into the deep south and then exiting out into the northern Gulf Coast. That's all part of a showery frontal boundary that is gradually taking most of its energy and lifting it off to the north. So consequently, what happens is that frontal boundary is going to weaken significantly as it moves into the state of Florida, and we're not going to get a whole lot out of it. Tomorrow, what we'll notice is a little bit of a wind shift, and that little bit of a wind shift will draw down a little bit drier air. So maybe we lower our temperatures a degree or two, and that's it. It's not going to pack much of a punch. Might kick off an isolated shower or two. There might be a few more clouds around tomorrow, but all in all, tomorrow should end up being a pretty nice day. Sunday, however, we do have another frontal boundary on its tails that'll be sinking southward. That frontal boundary will develop a low-pressure area out in the western Gulf. That will advance toward the state of Florida. Sound familiar? Kind of a similar situation to what we had just a week ago on Sunday, but this one will not pack nearly the wallop. Right now, confidence is pretty high that we're going to get some afternoon showers on Sunday, perhaps quarter-inch rainfalls. Confidence maybe 60–70% in quarter-inch rainfalls. Half-inch rainfalls, confidence goes way down. So this won't be a really wet storm, but it will be persistent patches of drizzle and light showers, I think, from about 3 o'clock into the evening hours. Nice day today. Slight Saturday rain chance with a little bit more cloud cover around. Maybe the winds might be a little breezier. And then on Sunday, well, the first half of the day should be fine. But the second half of the day is going to cloud up, and then we're going to work in that shower chance. Here's a long rain futurecast. This one is the European model that has consistently stayed wet across the Suncoast, and that hasn't changed much. And in fact, the other model, which was not quite as wet, has become a little bit wetter over the last 24 hours. So the chance of showers, as I said, is gaining confidence for Sunday. Now, here's a look at what the low temperature trend will be over the weekend. You'll notice that as that front comes through, we get a little bit of a dip in rising nighttime temperatures, but it doesn't last long, and that's because the front is not going to pack that much of a wallop either, the second one either. So we're not looking at a big downtrend in our temperatures with even this next front that comes through. North wind comes in at about 10, increases perhaps to 15 during the overnight to a moderate chop. For today, 74 degrees, our daytime high temperature. Tomorrow, 71 degrees with a few extra clouds around, isolated shower perhaps. 50% chance of showers on Sunday afternoon particularly. We'll call it a first alert day because of all the people that'll be out and about going to various parties and such because of the Super Bowl. And then as we head into Monday, those rain chances decrease markedly by the beginning of the day. And the rest of the work week looks mild and warm, could be up near 80 at some point next week. Ray?
I love the sound of that. Thank you, John. Checking first alert traffic now. Not much to speak of so far in Manatee County. All clear. Checking the upper half of Sarasota County. There we go. Some issues there on Clark Road in either direction around Sawyer and Beneva, so be aware of that, particularly in the westbound lane. South County, though, all clear at 5:15 on your Friday morning. And this is a live picture of U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Big game there on Sunday. In fact, the temperature is expected to be 9 degrees outside the stadium. Luckily, it's indoors for the fans and the players. We'll have more on ticket prices, by the way, later on in this half hour. Well, the big game is now just 2 days away. We had a chance to talk to a former player who took part in 2 Super Bowls. He lives here on the Suncoast. Steve Christie is the leading scorer in Buffalo Bills history, and he says the team that can set aside all the hype has a huge advantage. I would think it kind of comes down to which team is more able to set aside the trappings and get down to business.
I agree 100%. I think a lot of guys throughout the years would have lessons for younger guys saying, hey, look, there's a curfew at 11 o'clock for a reason.
Former NFL kicker Steve Christie knows what he's talking about. He played in the NFL for 15 years, mostly for the Buffalo Bills, and appeared in 2 Super Bowls. How are the emotions different before a Super Bowl game?
For me, I was extremely nervous. The first one I was in was at the Rose Bowl. I went to the bathroom 6 times. I was so nervous before the game. And then I just hope that, you know, after pregame warm-up and once you kick off and get in the game, it's just another game.
When you watch the game, do you get butterflies at home?
I'll get butterflies when the guys come out of the tunnel. That was one of my favorite things at the beginning of a game.
Do you miss it still?
I miss Sundays. Yeah, I don't miss all the nonsense during the week.
Tom Brady, the best quarterback ever?
I think so. I think he's the greatest of all time. I mean, he's shown even this year that when he needs to perform, he does. It's not always pretty, but he gets it done.
Were you surprised the Eagles have gotten this far?
I am, because if your starting quarterback goes down, it's a big challenge for whoever's coming in. Foles has done a great job, but that doesn't always happen.
What advice would you give the kickers of each team for this?
Well, basically just do your job. Don't worry about all the hype. Patriots are probably going to be favored. A lot of experience. Tom Brady's got this knack of getting the thing done when he has to. But, you know, I like Philadelphia's offensive coordinator, Frank Reich, who is my holder with Buffalo. But he's done a great job there, and with a backup quarterback.
Oh, here we go.
The layout.
I thought I was running fast. I was ambling. Wounded deer out there. Those who bought tickets for Sunday's big game had to dig deep. Internet ticket broker StubHub said despite the Patriots once again being in the big game and despite frigid weather there, tickets for this year's game are the most expensive on record. How high?
The cheapest ticket price available on StubHub right now is going for around $3,200 to get into the door. The most expensive ticket price that we've sold so far was for $22,000.
You could easily instead buy a car or have a nice trip overseas for that kind of money. Back here on the Suncoast, another big tradition continued around the Super Bowl. 2 manatees at Moat Marine made their annual prediction. Handlers put logos in front of the sea cows and saw which ones they gravitated toward. Buffett and Hugh were split this year. Buffett chose the Eagles to win the game. Hugh chose the Patriots. Buffett is better at this, though. He's picked the winner correctly in 8 of the past 10 big games. Again, Buffett chose the Eagles. Maybe he has some insight we don't know about. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, it was a prime holiday season for Amazon. The online retailing giant posted its biggest quarterly profits, selling more voice-activated Echo devices and added more Prime members. And next half hour, another reason to file your taxes early, the latest scam that could cause you identity issues. Let's go live now to Pennsylvania. Puxatawny Phil is getting ready to either come out or not. We'll have details of that story and much more news coming up. It's 5:20 right now, and you're watching Good Morning Suncoast.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-685-6422, 800-685-6422.
Hi, I'm Joan London with A Place for Mom. Over the years, we've helped thousands of families find senior care, and today's senior living communities have never been better, with amazing amenities like movie theaters, exercise rooms and swimming pools, public cafes, bars and bistros, even pet care services. And nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. These are local expert advisors that will partner with you to find the perfect place and determine the right level of care, whether that's just a helping hand or full-time memory care. Best of all, it's a free service. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom right now to get our free ebook on financing senior care, as well as a free referral for senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-290-0352. That's 1-800-290-0352.
There's a pretty shot outside our window here in Sarasota. It's going to be a nice day today, high of 74 degrees. Watch out for Sunday, though. John's calling for some rain possibly in the afternoon on Sunday. You can settle in and watch the Super Bowl, perhaps. Hey, we'd love to hear from you. We upload daily content every day on our respective Facebook pages. I had a chance to put some pictures up of Steve Christie, who you just saw playing catch outside. Nice guy, lives in Lakewood Ranch, and pictures of that little encounter. We're also on Instagram as well, behind-the-scenes shots here at ABC7. Consumer news now. Now that tax season is underway officially, scammers are hoping to get your refund check. They're now going after people through an email that says it contains your W-2. If you click it, it can expose your information and spread a virus to your contacts. To protect yourself and make sure you're the person getting your refund check, the top man at the Better Business Bureau says the sooner you file your taxes, the better.
We're going to start to see people who are going to complain when they go to file their tax return that their records are going to get flagged because it is showing a return's already been done or their children have been claimed by somebody else.
If someone steals your information, they can open lines of credit and do much more damage as well. If you are in the market for a new car, experts are giving tips on getting the best deal on financing a loan. The Detroit Free Press says shop for the loan before going to the dealership. Know your credit score. Borrowers with poor credit may have a tough time financing the full amount they need. Experts also say negotiate the price right away. If you don't, you run the risk of buying a model that's more expensive than you can afford. Also, by the way, my tip, check the Kelley Blue Book for the wholesale price, and then you make the dealer an offer. Take the power back. Speaking of cars, Tesla is bringing its high-end solar gear to home improvement stores. The car company bought a solar company back in 2016. Bloomberg reports that Tesla plans to start selling its own solar gear in 800 Home Depot locations across the country. They're not cheap either. Tesla said that solar panels will cost anywhere from $10,000 to $25,000. Monopoly is releasing a special Cheaters edition of the classic game. In this version, fans are encouraged to play dirty. The goal is to not get caught. The new game will include several tasks for players to complete. You can successfully cheat your way to getting them done if you'll get the rewards then. But if you get caught, you could end up wearing a handcuff that literally chains you to the game. The Cheaters edition is expected to be released sometime this fall. Sign of the times, right? Well, some of the country's biggest tech companies hit major financial milestones. ABC's Candace Gibson and Diane Macedo have details in this morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, Apple is reporting its biggest quarterly profit of all time.
The world's most valuable company made more than $20 billion last quarter, despite a drop in iPhone sales. That drop was offset by the higher price of the iPhone 10.
And Apple's cash reserves also hit a record at $285 billion.
Amazon has also posted the largest quarterly profit in history, just under $2 billion.
Yeah, the company credits record holiday sales and millions of new customers from its Prime service. And Super Mario is coming back to the big screen. Nintendo confirms a new animated movie featuring the legendary video game hero. It's in the works.
The Japanese company is teaming up with Illumination, the U.S. movie studio behind Despicable Me and Minions.
You really shouldn't call yourself that.
No, it's a movie. Despicable Me.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Those are your Tech Bites.
Tech Bites, brought to you by Lyrica.
To most people, I look like most people. But on the inside, I feel chronic, widespread pain. Fibromyalgia may be invisible to others, but my pain is real.
Fibromyalgia is thought to be caused by overactive nerves. Lyrica is believed to calm these nerves.
I'm glad my doctor prescribed Lyrica.
For some, Lyrica delivers effective relief for moderate to even severe fibromyalgia pain and improves function. Lyrica may cause serious allergic reactions, suicidal thoughts or actions. Tell your doctor right away if you have these, new or worse depression, unusual changes in mood or behavior, swelling, trouble breathing, rash, hives, blisters, muscle pain with fever, tired feeling, or blurry vision. Common side effects: dizziness, sleepiness, weight gain, swelling of hands, legs, and feet. Don't drink alcohol while taking Lyrica. Don't drive or use machinery until you know how Lyrica affects you. Those who've had a drug or alcohol problem may be more likely to misuse Lyrica.
With less pain, I can do more with my family.
Talk to your doctor today. See if Lyrica can help.
Join ABC7 at the all-new 2018 edition of Circus Sarasota. Ovation under the big top at Nathan Benderson Park behind the mall at UTC. Friday, February 9th through Sunday, March 4th. All opening weekend tickets are 20% off, courtesy of ABC7. To purchase your discount tickets, visit circusarts.org, the Circus Sarasota box office at the big top, or call 941-355-9805.
I love taking care of my mom. It wasn't easy at first. She learned how to better communicate her needs.
And you learned how to not ignore yours.
I discovered how to make healthier meals.
And I discovered how much I enjoyed them.
Becoming a caregiver is a learning experience for everyone. Find articles, tips, and tools from experts and others who have been in your place. The Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving.
It's been about a month, and I can honestly say I've seen the change in me. I went from being a depressed girl who didn't want help to this happy, caring girl who loves helping other people. I just really hope that people that went through what I went through get the help that they need, because their story is important, and they are loved. Thank you so much for everything.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Letting my friends online know I was quitting kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
I kept on trying, learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
We did it. You can too.
For free help, visit cdc.gov/tips.
What to expect when you're expecting a teenager.
Today we're talking about how to wake up your teen, and this works literally every time.
Good kisses. Good kisses. You heard how loud
I heard. It wasn't you. It was the...
Is that bacon?
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate. It's worn like a badge of honor with good reason. Because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Check out My Suncoast Dining on mysuncoast.com for Chef Judy's favorite recipes, restaurant guide, and more. Go to mysuncoast.com/dining.
This half hour on Good Morning Suncoast, Sarasota County is trying to start some friendly neighborhood competition. How you can get involved.
I'm live at Fire Station number 1 in Sarasota, where the state's fire marshal will be advocating more benefits for firefighters. What those benefits are is straight ahead.
And the last cocaine cowboy has turned himself in where he and his family have been hiding for the past 25 years. Those stories and more right now on Good Morning Suncoast.
Live from the ABC 7 studios, this is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good morning. We have made it together to Friday. It is 5:30. I'm Ray Collins. Stephanie is off this morning. John Scalzi is here. And I think I saw you skipping inside the door today since it is Friday.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Ray. Loves me some Fridays.
I know you do.
We have actually some pretty nice weather, too, for Friday, I think, and for Saturday as well, and most of Sunday. So it's shaping up to be a pretty nice couple of days here that a lot of us will have off. We're looking at Becky in Omayaka, one of our longtime weather watchers, coming in with 46 degrees there. So obviously a little bit cooler in Myakka, Old Myakka. Richard in Port Charlotte, in Northport, comes in with 52 degrees. And generally temperatures across the region are in the mid to upper 50s. 55 Sarasota, 57 Bradenton Parish, and Venice coming in at 58 with interior temperatures coming in at about 57 degrees. We'll get up today to a daytime high temperature that tops out at about 74 by 3 p.m. By noon, we'll be at 71. And as you drop those kids off at school, we'll have about 55 degrees out there. Your drive time forecast has no weather issues whatsoever. Again, all the things we track, rain, fog, wind, temperatures, all look just fine this morning. You'll start off your morning with a commute in the 50s and 60s and come home in the upper 60s. Back to you, Ray.
All right, John, talk to you soon. Checking first alert traffic right now. Pretty quiet in Manatee County. Some early buildup there on US 301, also around State Road 70. Checking farther south now on the map onto the northern half of Sarasota County. A little issue there on Clark Road as you head westbound around Beneva. Otherwise, not too bad. And checking farther south, so far so good. South County all clear at 5:32 on your Friday morning. Our top story now, a bill in Tallahassee would give new benefits to firefighters suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome. And this morning, a VIP is on the Suncoast to push the plan. Our Marla Spence joins us now live from Fire Station 1 in the Rosemary District. Marla?
Benefit changes for some Florida and Suncoast firefighters. House Bill 227 is pending review after it was being heard from its first committee on Wednesday. The House bill is pushing for more benefits for firefighters who are diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, also known as PTSD. It's being advocated by Jimmy Petronis, who serves as the state chief financial officer and the fire marshal for the state of Florida. Now, Petronis is stopping right here at Fire Station number 1. He was in Miami earlier this week to talk about that bill and also the push for that bill. This morning he'll be right here at 7:30, and we will be here to cover that story and to see everything and all that interview as well for his push for that House bill. Reporting live in Sarasota, Marla Spence for ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
All right, thank you, Marla. Sarasota County is launching its 2018 Neighborhood Challenge. The program encourages neighbors to work together to improve their area. The program runs through the end of September. Those taking part can earn points by completing tasks. Any neighborhood can take part. Neighborhoods will track their progress in the categories green, healthy, or involved. The top 3 neighborhoods will be crowned 2018 Neighborhood Challenge champions and be recognized by the Sarasota County Board of Commissioners. How to register, you can check out on our app. The 2018 challenge is listed there. You can find our app under WWSB or under My Suncoast. Other news now happening in Florida. The last missing so-called cocaine cowboy is now pleading guilty. Gustavo Falcone, seen here, is the last in a group of 8 indicted in the 1990s for the most infamous cases in South Florida. Prosecutors say the group smuggled, get this, 75 tons of cocaine into the U.S. over a 13-year period. Falcone and his family have been living quietly near Orlando.
Terms pursuant to the plea agreement, there'll be no charges brought against his wife or his children in connection with his absence from the jurisdiction for the last 26 years.
Falcone's brother pleaded guilty in a deal. He is currently in federal immigration custody. He is a Cuban native, having never become a U.S. citizen, rather. His partner in crime went to trial, was convicted, and is serving a sentence of 195 years. Well, this story is causing quite a buzz. New developments now. New witnesses are speaking out in the 1981 drowning of actress Natalie Wood. Now investigators are calling it a suspicious death. They're naming her former husband, actor Robert Wagner, a person of interest. One of the witnesses is saying that she heard Wood and Wagner arguing before Wood was found in the water. Now, Wagner has vehemently denied any involvement in his wife's death. She drowned off the coast of Southern California in 1981 at the age of 43. A financial lifeline for hurricane-devastated Puerto Rico. HUD awarded the island $1.5 billion to help recover from Hurricane Irma and Maria. The money will be used to support long-term recovery of seriously damaged homes and businesses. Housing Secretary Ben Carson says that HUD will also cut the red tape to speed up the recovery process. Earlier this week, they say that nearly 500,000 customers remain without power in Puerto Rico now 4 months after Maria hit that island. Well, the big buzz right now in Washington is about the classified memo that President Trump has suggested he has that can change the course of the investigation into Russian meddling of the 2016 election. ABC's Serena Marshall reports.
President Trump likely to give the go-ahead to release the highly controversial GOP memo his own FBI director warned against making public. The FBI took the extraordinary step earlier this week of opposing its release, citing, quote, grave concerns about its accuracy. The union representing FBI agents thanked Director Chris Wray for his support and for standing shoulder to shoulder with them. Former FBI Director James Comey also defending the agency in a tweet, writing, all should appreciate the FBI speaking up, and that in the long run, weasels and liars never hold the field as long as good people stand up. The memo, written by Republicans on the House Intelligence Committee, purports to show the Justice Department acted inappropriately when it sought a surveillance warrant for a former Trump campaign advisor suspected of being a Russian agent.
The point was to selectively declassify information so that it would support a narrative favorable to the president.
The likely decision doesn't just put the president at odds with Democrats and the FBI. According to the Washington Post, his director of national intelligence also expressed reservations about the release. And the number 3 Republican in the Senate, John Thune, urged House Republicans to pay careful attention to what the folks who protect us say. But Speaker Ryan argued the memo isn't an indictment of the FBI.
It does not impugn the Mueller investigation or the Deputy Attorney General.
A spokeswoman for the Speaker tells us that he also supports releasing the 10-page Democratic counter memo, even though the committee voted against its release. But the 4-page GOP memo could be made public as early as this afternoon. Serena Marshall, ABC News, Washington.
Also in Washington, personal cell phones could soon be off limits at the Pentagon. Defense Secretary James Mattis is considering such a ban. It would prevent U.S. military and civilian personnel from bringing their cell phones into the Pentagon.
It is important that we always adapt our security procedures. With respect to the workforce, Secretary's primary interest is to ensure that we are all safe and that we are all secure.
The officials say the proposal is under review and has no final decision quite yet. A similar ban took effect at the White House earlier this month. Staffers can no longer bring cell phones into the West Wing. Some say people who lie about their pets being service animals are hurting those who actually have disabilities. Critics say that pigs and cats and peacocks are simply not service animals. Calm and controlled service dogs performing tasks cost thousands of dollars and are considered medical equipment for a handler with a physical disability or a psychiatric issue. That's why they are allowed in public places under the Americans with Disabilities Act.
You might not ever think that your dog would snap at someone or bite someone or become aggressive, but if you scare any dog enough, then they will.
Service dogs often wear distinguishing badges and vests, and they are trained to help a specific type of person with disabilities. Emotional support animals, often referred to as ESAS, don't do any tasks per se. Their job is to simply be close by and in that way act as an emotional support for their owner. In China, a van plowed into pedestrians in Shanghai, injuring 18 people, 3 of them seriously. Police say the incident was an accident after the van caught fire, lost control, and drove into the sidewalk. The van knocked down several people and then hit a tree. Officials say a man in a truck drove over and ruined a UN World Heritage Site in Peru. Ancient human-carved Peru's Nazca lines and geoglyphs into the earth between 1,500 and 2,500 years ago. The massive figures depict animals, plants, and other shapes and are believed to have had a ritualistic and astronomical function. The truck damaged 3 of the geoglyphs. The man was arrested. Officials say he ignored warning signs, but a judge ruled that there was not enough evidence to prove he intended to damage the heritage site, so he was then released. Years of petitions and protests by conservationists have finally paid off. Hong Kong lawmakers have voted almost unanimously to ban ivory sales by the year 2021. The UK Prime Minister Theresa May is in China and just announced joint efforts to tackle the ivory trade. Still ahead, first alert traffic and how to avoid the flu at work. Stephanie Webb, I hope you are watching. We'll show you what both you and your employer can do to keep you healthy. That's up next in Health Smart. It is 5:41. It's National Wear Red Day, and that means you can get involved, and we'll tell you how after this. It is a Friday morning, not just any Friday, Punxsutawney Phil Day.
It is an exciting morning. This is my 17th year. I've had some cold years. Larry, you haven't been here probably as many times, but you are the record taker for the coldest Groundhog Day, right?
25 years ago, my silver anniversary here on the Knob, it was 13 below zero, the actual temperature. However, it's about 15 right now.
Yeah.
And what would you say is that real field temperature?
It feels cold.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
Is your mop a dirty, disgusting mess? You need the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System, the only mop and bucket that spins the dirt away. A system that cleans practically anything and everything with super absorbent microfiber. Dip it in the washer side and the mess releases into the bucket. Then place it in the dryer side and push on a pedal. You get a clean mop head that's practically dry and ready for more. And your hands will never again touch a dirty, disgusting mop. The heads are washable and reusable. Get the Hurricane 360 Spin Mop System for just 2 payments of $19.99. You'll also get a Sticky Buddy, the reusable sticky roller that picks up pet hair and lint and washes clean in seconds. You can take advantage of our 2-for-1 Pick It Up special and get a second spin mop set. Just pay additional shipping and fee. And we'll upgrade you to free priority handling. So don't wait. Order now.
Call 1-800-394-1524 to get your Hurricane Spin Mop double offer. So hurry and call 1-800-394-1524. Call now.
Who else has been taking your prescriptions? Keep your medicine and your family safe and secure. Mind your meds. To learn how we can help, visit the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids at drugfree.org.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend.
Nice single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
When it comes to drinking, what do you think moderation is? The U.S. Dietary Guidelines define moderation as up to 1 drink a day for women and up to 2 drinks a day for men. So what's a drink? The guidelines say a drink equals 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or a cocktail with 1.5 ounces of distilled spirits. Each contains the same amount of alcohol. Like to learn more? Visit drinkinmoderation.org.
Now your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we're running around 5 or 7 degrees above where we were 24 hours ago. A nice warm start to the day, I guess, at 55 degrees. As we head into the noontime hour, we'll be up into the 70s already. So we're looking at a partly sunny and a warm afternoon, coming in with a daytime high of about 74 around 3, and then tapering off into the 60s as we head into the evening hours tonight. No rain in today's forecast with a temperature at 55. We have a dew point at 51. Calm winds out there right now. We'll watch those winds, generally speaking, out of the northeast today through the morning hours, topping it around lunchtime, as I mentioned, for everyone in the 70s. May have a couple of 74s and 5s on the board, mostly in the lower 70s. And then as we head into the evening hours, winds will start shifting a little bit more to the west. We'll get that onshore flow, keeping the coast just a little bit cooler, while inland temperatures become a little bit warmer, up around 75 or 76 degrees even. And then in the evening hours, a few fair weather clouds leading to a beautiful sunset, I think, just as we have had over the last several days. Under mostly clear skies this evening, we'll have temperatures that drop into the 50s by the time everybody's out there going to the movies or heading out to eat or whatever kind of recreation you enjoy in the evenings on a Friday. It should be just fine for that. Should be no issues whatsoever. And then some partly cloudy overnight skies leading to a beautiful Saturday morning for an early tea time. Should not be a problem. Winds will be generally out of the northeast, fairly light, but they will be picking up tomorrow afternoon as we get a little bit more cloud cover around because of an approaching front. That front is basically going to fall apart. It's located just to our north, but as it sinks south, it just dissipates. It will, however, swing our winds around more to the north, and that will bring us some slightly cooler temperatures tomorrow, only by a degree or two, though, not kind of an Arctic blast or anything like that. And we may kind of squeeze out an isolated shower or two tomorrow afternoon, but that would be about it, really. And that would be mostly in inland areas, I would think. The frontal boundary that we're going to be watching is still located back to the west on Saturday morning. That one moves into Gulf waters and develops a low pressure area on its tail. As that low moves closer to the state of Florida, we have a decent chance of showers on Sunday. In fact, confidence is building for at least 1/10 of an inch of rain, perhaps as much as a 1/4 inch rainfall as we head into the afternoons. 10-knot winds northeast coming in at about 15 during the evening. Light to moderate chop. Watch the winds to pick up just a little tomorrow. Your calendar for the regatta calls for an 8 a.m. temperature for that run in the mid-50s under partly cloudy skies. 60s by noon for a lot of the events that are taking place. A little bit breezy as we head into the afternoon because of that front kind of stalling out over us, bringing our wind speeds up just a bit, but still not high enough to create any big issues. 74 degrees today, tomorrow 71 with that front having moved through an isolated shower. Sunday, better chances of rain in the second half of the afternoon, and the rest of the week we start to warm. Ray?
All right, very nice. Thank you, John. Let's check first alert traffic right now on this Friday morning. Little blip there on the far right side of your TV screen on State Road 70 as you get out of Lakewood Ranch Boulevard and head toward the interstate. Nothing major to report right now. Farther south into the northern half of Sarasota County, 41 southbound as you approach the Ringling Causeway at the new hotel there. Some slowdowns there for now. And then checking our final map of the south, that check's all clear at 5:49 on your Friday morning. In this hour's Health Smart, drowning deaths are on the rise. In Maui alone, 9 deaths the past 2 weeks. Most of the victims were older visitors who were snorkeling. It's unclear if they were inexperienced.
The biggest problem is just maybe they're not used to currents or waves, or not necessarily a riptide, but definitely the way the tide pulls you. And a lot of times people don't know exactly how to counteract that.
Another issue is the possibility of carbon dioxide accumulation in the water. If breaths are too shallow, potentially toxic levels of the gas can build up inside a mask or snorkel. The state has found that in the recent deaths, snorkelers were using a mix of standard and newer full-face equipment. It's unclear what effect that had on the spike in drownings in Hawaii. The worst flu season in a decade will cost U.S. employers at least $15 billion as workers call in sick. Lost productivity could cost up to $21 billion more if flu activity doesn't ease up soon. The flu season is already approaching levels seen in the pandemic of 2014, which affected about 18 million workers. Experts are suggesting that certain steps companies can take to help their employees stay healthy. Among them, free flu shots for workers if they want them, limiting meetings by holding conference calls instead, allowing more telecommuting, and providing hand sanitizer and alcohol wipes as well. Well, you may see more women than usual wearing red today. That's because it's the American Heart Association's National Wear Red Day. Heart disease is the leading cause of death for women in this country. Next half hour at 6, we'll show you the leading factors of heart disease and what you can do to prevent it. It's a live picture of Puxatawny where Phil may or may not poke his head out this morning. We'll check on it throughout the day here on Good Morning Suncoast.
Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. 'Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. 'Cause Uptown...
Today, everyone is looking for carpeting that lasts longer. G. Fried has you covered with Karastan. With a legacy of quality and integrity, we provide you with a huge selection of Karastan carpets with exclusive lifetime limited warranties. All installed by our highly skilled, highly knowledgeable team. Come ask us why Karastan is the best and most durable. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 78.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Hi, I'm Janelle Hale, founder and CEO of the National Breast Cancer Foundation. No one should face breast cancer alone. When I was diagnosed 36 years ago, there was no internet, and I had to make a decision with little information. Early detection saved my life. It could save yours too. To learn what every woman needs to know about breast cancer, visit nbcf.org/hope.
Stay connected to your clients and new customers using ABC7 Digital Media Services. Our team of professionals provide a wide array of digital services to help you get the most out of your website. We specialize in building and helping you maintain the most effective digital solutions for your business. It's vital that your online presence stands out, so our experts will equip you with the best resources available. Trust ABC7 Digital Media Services to give you the right tools to grow your business.
Are you a soccer mom or dad? Regardless of their age or experience level, when your kids play soccer or any other sport, there's one person on the sideline who is key to help recognize and seek medical care for sports-related concussion. It's you. You need to know the signs and symptoms of concussion, and you need to act if you think your child has been injured. Remember, when in doubt, sit them out. To learn more, go to cdc.gov/concussion. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004.
There was this big bruise on my friend's face. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to think her own nephew could have hit her.
I didn't want to see it. My mother's bank account was emptied, and a caregiver had taken control of it.
I didn't want to see it. My father's refrigerator. There was hardly anything in it. That's unusual for him.
It's tough to see that a senior citizen is being abused, physically, emotionally, sexually, or financially. Elder abuse is a crime.
So see the signs. Stop the crimes.
My goal every day when I come into work at ABC7 is to tell your stories, give you that major local news and those details that you really care about. I'm Jacqueline Matter, and I'm here for you.
Welcome back, 5:54 on this Friday morning. Here are some of the headlines making news as you awaken today. Wildfire season usually starts in late February, but local fire officials say January was the busiest they've seen in recent years. A drier than average winter is the main cause for the spike. Meantime, the state's fire marshal is on the Suncoast this morning. Jimmy Petronas is here to talk about a bill in Tallahassee that would offer firefighters benefits for post-traumatic stress disorder. And who will win the Super Bowl? A Suncoast resident who played in 2 big games says the team with more experience setting aside the hype has a big advantage. Steve Christie says he's impressed by the Eagles quarterback, but he believes that Tom Brady is the best of all time. The game is Sunday night in Minneapolis. Next half hour, a big race this weekend in Sarasota. We'll have all details of the Sarasota Music Half Marathon. A lot of fun on the streets of Sarasota. See you in a couple minutes here. But first, let's go back live again to Pennsylvania, where Punxsutawney Phil is the star of the show. Here's a live picture and some music for you as well.